Did you know that your first extra payment can save you 37 times more than your last 10 combined? I'll show you why that's true, how to calculate your own multiplier, and how that same math makes financial freedom possible. Let's jump in. We'll use a student loan to explore this concept, but what you're about to learn applies to virtually every financial decision you'll ever make. That concept is called the time value of money, or TVM. And really, all that this means is that $1 today is worth more than $1 in the future. But why is this true? This feels intuitive when we're talking about investing, where a dollar invested today will grow to be more than $1 in the future. But with debt, this works in reverse. Here, we still have time on our x-axis, but we'll replace the y with our remaining balance. It's going to start up here, and it will go down over time as we make our payments. And as our interest shrinks, our line will become steeper, moving towards zero faster with each payment. Everything under this curve is our interest exposure, so the bigger the area, the more we'll be paying in interest. And this is just because the greater our remaining balance on any given month, the more we're going to owe in interest. Now, let's see what happens if we make a one-time payment early on in our loan. Let's say we're paying a few thousand extra all at once within our first 6 months. This will adjust our balance curve just slightly, at least at first, but that tiny deviation from the line will get magnified as time passes. It's like a plane taking off from California going to New York. If it's off even a few degrees to start, it's going to land somewhere else entirely. And by the time our remaining balance is zero, we'll find that we paid off our loan many months early, and all of this area here is balance that we didn't have to pay any interest on. So that's our savings. But if we had done the same extra payment in the last third of our loan, we wouldn't have saved anywhere near as much time or money because there just isn't enough time for that extra payment to work for us. So our early extra payment is worth more than our late extra payment, which brings us back to the time value of money. Now let's see exactly how much more that extra payment would have saved us by modeling a typical loan in Google Sheets. Here we are in a variation of our student loan dashboard. This might look familiar from some of my other videos, and you can find a link to this in the description below. And let's start off by entering in some loan information. We'll start the loan next year, and we'll use nice round numbers to start. Let's say we borrowed around $50,000 at a 10% interest rate, and our monthly minimum payment will auto-populate, and here is our total interest cost at that minimum payment. Now, based on that time horizon and that interest rate, this chart shows us how much we would save in interest per $100 in extra payments, depending on when we pay that extra money. So if we do extra payments toward the end, you can see that we'll save very little in interest because there's very little time left for those extra payments to compound. But if we make those same extra payments early in our loan, let's say we do $100 extra in month 1, we can see that that one-time extra payment of $100 will save us almost $170 total in interest payments over the life of the loan, which is a really good return on that investment for us. Now let's see what this looks like in our amortization table. So we have our month, we have our dates, our beginning loan balance, total payment. Right now it's just minimum payment. Extra payments are zero right now. And here we can see how much we would save in interest if we paid an extra $100 on any given month. So you can see in month 1, we would save almost $170, which we already knew, and then that number decreases over time. Then if we go down toward the bottom, we can see that toward the end of the loan, that extra $100 will only save us a few bucks for these last few months. These extra payments at the end will pay off our principal faster, but they'll have very little impact on our interest payments. And on average, the savings we see in the last 10 months from extra payments is 37 times less than the savings we would see from the same extra payment in month 1. Now let's make this a little bit more realistic and test a few scenarios. So let's say we have a total of $5,000 in extra payments that we can throw at this loan. And let's see what kind of impact it would have to spread that $5,000 out across the last third of the loan. Let's say we start making those extra payments in month 80 and we finish in month 110. This might seem like a little bit of a silly scenario, but it reflects a common phenomenon where people are toward the end of their loans and they just want to get it done, and maybe they're earning more income than when they started, so they start making more extra payments right at the end, close out the loan a little bit early, But the reality is, as we can see here, that extra $5,000 would save us in total about $3,100. So let's take that same $5,000 in extra payments, but we'll spread that out across the first third of the loan instead of the last third. Now paying that early saves us almost $6,000 in interest, and we save 16 months total. So as you can see, paying that money early in our loan saves us much more than paying later in our loan. So this is the time value of money as it relates to debt. It can save us a lot more in interest payments to pay early, and it can help us finish our loans much sooner. But when we look at investing, it's the same but in reverse. So making extra investments sooner will help us build much more wealth over our lifetime than making those same extra investments later in life. So here we have our wealth over time, and just that small shift to our flight path early in our investment journey will land us in a much wealthier place in the future. And we'll dig much deeper into this and other wealth building concepts in future videos, so make sure you subscribe to catch those. Whether you're paying down debt or building wealth, the math is the same. Early dollars will work harder for you. That's the time value of money. So grab the spreadsheet from the description below, plug in your own numbers, and see what your early payments are really worth. I'm Kev, and I'll see you next time.